A human leg found in a creek bed in Springfield, Tennessee on July 4th has been identified, and it might actually be tied to one of Tennessee's most famous missing person cases and mysteries. TBI said through DNA analysis, they have determined that the leg belongs to Joseph Frank Benton. He was a 68-year-old man from Springfield, Tennessee, and he's been missing. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, it might be because he's actually connected to another famous missing person case, that of Jennifer and Adriana Wicks. They've been missing since 2004. See, Joseph Frank Benton, he's the father of the boyfriend, Joseph Benton Jr., who was considered a person of interest in her disappearance. If you're unfamiliar with her story, it goes like this. According to family, leading up to her disappearance, she had been in a variety of arguments with both Joseph and Joseph's family. At one point, she expressed being fearful for her life in some of the phone calls, and then she vanished on March 25th of that year. Also leading up to the disappearance, she had taken Adriana in for a doctor's visit, and upon examination, nurses and doctors determined that little Adriana had been SA'd by someone. So, of course, when they came up missing, police talked to Joseph. He claimed that she simply broke up with him and vanished. In some of the versions, he dropped her off at a gas station after the breakup. In some other stories, he said he actually saw her get into a white sedan with a man that he didn't know. Sometimes the car was described as a Camaro, sometimes a Mustang. Sometimes he just couldn't remember what kind of car it was. In another version, he actually said that she came back to the home to gather her belongings, but none of this was ever corroborated by police, and all of his stories sounded suspicious. Regardless, this wasn't considered a homicide investigation until 2013, and it may have been too late at that point. This case remains unsolved today. There was some renewed hope 20 years after her disappearance that this might actually be solved, though. 20 years almost to the day, this man, Joseph Frank Benton, his home was raided by police. This got a lot of media attention, people thinking maybe they were going to finally have answers for Jennifer and Adriana. And Joseph Benton Sr., he was charged with a variety of crimes, mostly weapons related. He had 40 of those. He also had a probation violation because he was a felon and not supposed to be in possession of those. But most interestingly to me, he was also charged with having sexual exploitation material. And the way it was described in the articles is that he had a digital photograph or a digital picture of a 20-year-old photograph of sexual exploitation of a minor. Interesting considering the disappearance had happened 20 years sooner. So where is Joseph Frank Benton? Where's his body? Is he alive? Is he deceased? TBI is not saying yet what their theory is, but we will, of course, stay on top of this if any news